What up, 12s? Adam here. Thought we could sit down and talk a little big nickel. I love this topic. This is one of my favorite things. I have been pushing for the Seahawks to play a lot more of this for years and years now. And boy, every time I hear big nickel, I almost have a happy ending. I mean, that's how excited I get about the idea of the big nickel in today's NFL. And the reason I thought it was interesting to talk about this is Pete Carroll just had an interview at the owners' meetings and had a little bit of clarification about what the Seahawks are thinking when it comes to Jamal Adams. Some people have been thinking that possibly after June 1st or he'd be cut or be cut before then and be made a June 1st designation. You'd save somewhere around $8 million against the cap. And you could maybe move on from a guy that most people would say has been a bust since he's only played 25 of the 50 possible games that he could have since becoming a Seahawk. Now, I don't subscribe to this. I'd like to see them keep Jamal Adams around at least for this year and to see if he can't seem to stay healthy for an entire season, because if he does, I do think it unlocks a lot for the Seahawks. So this is what Pete Carroll had to say at the owners' meetings, quote, "I know there's some conversation that what we did with Julian, does that have some impact on Jamal or Quandre? It doesn't. We have a clear thought of what we're going to do with our guys and how we want to play them, and we feel very fortunate to have all our guys," end quote. So you can take that a few different ways. To me, that says, yeah, we're not moving on from Jamal this year. They couldn't trade him at this point. His trade value is very low, and it'd be difficult for them to get any sort of recoup for the amount of draft capital that they gave up in trading for Jamal. So I don't think that's very feasible, and I don't think they're going to cut him either. I really enjoy this idea of having a defensive backfield that has just a loaded safety position, because to me, I'm a big fan of the safety position. It's one of my favorites on defense, and I think it's one of the most versatile, and I think it's probably one of the most important. So the idea that you could run out there with Quandre, Julian Love, and then Jamal Adams down in the box, doing what he does best, getting after the passer, being able to play the run, and just running and hitting like he did when he was a New York Jet. I think that would be fantastic. And look, they played a ton of nickel last year with Kobe Bryant at nickel, right? Smaller dude, not very athletic, plays, mainly with his brains, which is great. But you could see he could get burned a lot in coverage because of his lack of speed and size. So bringing Jamal Adams down to the box, which I know he is not the most, famous for his coverage ability, he still is a good coverage guy. He's better than, I believe, than Kobe Bryant in the slot. I think Kobe Bryant then could move outside, which would be great for him. And we can get all these guys that are super versatile and, quote, multiple. We heard that term a ton this last offseason, right? When they were talking about the defense. That's what this does here. It allows the Seahawks to be, quote, multiple. Have Jamal Adams down in the box, be that de facto third linebacker. And I understand that big nickel is generally ran out of a 4-3. I don't know that really matters. I really think the difference between 3-4 and 4-3 is more subtle than most people like to admit. And in general, there's at least 4 dudes around the line of scrimmage at the beginning of the snap, lineman type. Whether you call, one of the Bosa's an outside linebacker or a D end, I guess that's up to you. If you want to call it a 3-4 and a 4-3 at that point. So I think it's possible that they could do it, even though that they're switching a little more to a 3-4 defense. But man, this safety lineup in our defensive backfield, it is just full of just bona fide, really good players, whether it's Quandre Diggs, it's now Julian Love, Jamal Adams, and then the most underrated player in almost the entire NFL, I think, is Ryan Neal. I can't believe nobody has come and tried to snatch him away after the Seahawks tendered him under the restricted free agent offer there. But no, he still remains, which is awesome because I love me some Ryan Neal. I think this could be really great because Jamal Adams can be that guy to help you stop the run in be that extra linebacker when you're already thin at linebacker, right? So now that frees you up to go and maybe spend more draft capital on the D line. And I think you would. I think you would have to have much bigger defensive linemen up front to take some of the pressure off of the linebacking core, being that Devin Bush is a little bit on the smaller side. And then now we got Bobby back, and he can be the man in the middle. We know he is still more than capable of that. And then have Jamal Adams down in the box, much like Tyrann Mathieu did for a very long time. He's a guy that played that position really well, the hybrid safety linebacker role, and I think it can be super versatile. And a lot of people say Jamal Adams would be too small for playing that sort of position, but let's think about it a little bit. How big was the Honey Badger? Well, let's compare. Honey Badger was 5'9", $190. That's right. He's a tiny dude. That's smaller than me. Now, I'm a fat ass, and he's actually in shape. So, completely different humans, but not a very big guy, yet very impactful down in the box. Now, compare that to Jamal Adams. What's his size? A lot of us, we don't follow that real closely. 6'1", 215, right in there. Maybe he could get up to 220 pretty easily. I think he could. That means that he would be about the size of some of the speedier linebackers in the NFL. And then if you look at it too, Jamal Adams and the Honey Badger, I think they give exactly the same amount of fucks about anything on any given day. Freaking zero. So I think their mentality is similar. And so I could see Jamal Adams thriving in that role. Now, as far as him being more in that linebacker position, okay, so Honey Badger's tiny. Well, what about other linebackers? Well, Levante David, one of the speedier linebackers in the NFL, but thought of as an excellent one, at least for a good portion of his career. He is 6'1", 234. Jamal Adams comes in at 6'1", 220. Is 14 pounds that big of a difference? Can that mean that Jamal Adams has no chance to be a playmaker in the box? I don't think so. I think it has a lot more to do with mentality and skill and quickness and being able to use your strengths to your advantage. So I think the big nickel or the big T Jeff, whatever you want to call it, I think it's an excellent strategy for the Seahawks. And let's be real. The league is still a passing league. As much as I want to see us get back more to the run, and I see some of the better teams in the NFC getting back to the run, the average, if you look at pass run ratio, the average for the league is 58.9% throwing the ball. 58.9. That was by the Rams. So if that's dead average for the league, and one of our division rivals, for sure, even though maybe not this year since, the credit cards come due for them, then I think we need to still be able to play the pass as well as we play the run, if not better, because most teams are going to throw the ball more often than they run. And with having the 3 safeties out there or the 4 safeties out there and possibly a big dime, it gives them all the ability in the world. It helps mask a problem at linebacker in terms of depth. And, the Seahawks do have the opportunity to go out and draft one of those or 2 of those big D tackles in the middle to help keep the linebackers clean and being able to sift through the trash and stop the run. So what do you guys think, man? Are you guys a fan of the big nickel? Do you love it as much as I do? Because I'm excited about this. I really want this to happen. I want Jamal Adams to be healthy. I want it to work with Julian Love. I think this is the way. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comments. Whether you'd like to go a different direction. Would you like to get rid of Jamal? Do you think it's possible to even trade him? Is that even a possibility in your mind? I'd be curious to know. But anyhow, if you guys like this sort of thing, please like, subscribe, all that good stuff helps us out. Appreciate it a ton. And with that, there's only one thing left to say. Go Hawks.